As far as I can see, Mr. Chairman, exactly none. Now, some may say, after all, there is a dispute between the Netherlands and Indonesia, and it is always desirable that disputes should be solved by peaceful means. So why not recommend a peaceful solution by negotiation or mediation? Now, the answer to that is that Indonesia is unwilling to accept any other solution than complete transfer of sovereignty over Netherlands, New Guinea to Indonesia. She has not only said so many times before, but quite recently, on the 26th of January 1957, a spokesman for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs at Jakarta once more affirmed that, and I quote, "The only settlement satisfactory to Indonesia would be unconditional transfer of sovereignty over West Irian to Indonesia." Any recommendation of whatever kind and in whatever terms conceived would therefore necessarily mean an unwarranted and an illegal interference by the General Assembly, and also an unlawful attack on the territorial integrity of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. Mr. Chairman, if any state could come to this Assembly and say, "I wish to annex a piece of territory that belongs to another member state," please tell that member state that it must negotiate with me on that matter. If that were possible, then the safeguards for the respect for territorial integrity of all states contained in the Charter would be gone. Even if the territorial claim were legally justified, even then, the General Assembly would have no right to deal with it. Far less has it any such right in respect of a claim which, like that of Indonesia, is wholly without foundation. Now, Mr. Chairman, if you will allow me, I would like to say just a few words on the resolution which I have found on the table here this morning. I naturally reserve my right to speak on that resolution again later on. But there is just one point that I should like to make about that resolution. We found in document AC1/. I would now introduce into my speech a more constructive theme. And I should like to end up my remarks by saying a few words on the aims of the Netherlands administration in New Guinea. That administration is based on the provisions of Chapter 11 of the Charter. Its aims are to ensure the political, economic, social and educational advancement of the Papuan population. A population which is one of the most primitive living in the world today. Each year, the Netherlands government reports to the United Nations on the progress it is making with this task of bringing civilization, religion, health, and education to this remote island. If it were possible, Mr. Chairman, and I say this with great emphasis, if it were possible at this time to let the Papuans choose for themselves under what regime they would like to live, my government would not hesitate for one moment to do so. Unfortunately, as Mr. Hatta, the Vice President of Indonesia, until shortly, as Mr. Hatta has himself stated, it is not yet possible to do so. But the Netherlands government is using every means within its power to hasten the education of the population of Netherlands, New Guinea, and to bring nearer the day when they shall be able to decide for themselves their own destiny. Netherlands, New Guinea. The The Netherlands government intends to keep this promise. And it is for that reason that it cannot entertain any thought of coming to an arrangement with Indonesia by which this promise would be annulled. Indonesia, on her part, has stated in equally clear terms that she would not be willing to grant self-determination to the population of New Guinea. End of quote. That attitude, Mr. Chairman, on the part of Indonesia makes it impossible for the Netherlands to negotiate with Indonesia on the future of Netherlands New Guinea. I trust that those among our fellow members who have so often made eloquent speeches in favor of the principle of self-determination of peoples will show in this case that they really believe in what they have been saying, and that they will realize that self-determination by the population of Netherlands New Guinea can only be ensured if all Indonesian claim for transfer or for negotiation or for mediation are rejected. I thank you.